And given the potential value of that, if we take, say, South America exporting to Europe or wherever, could there be the temptation that they are too tempted by that water trade to the cost of their own environment and peoples?
Actually, this decision needs to be made in the exporting country. Actually, they will have to think about for what purpose do we want to use our water and land. Do we want to use it for export of goods, which has, of course, many benefits, especially on the financial side and so on. But they have to make the decision, the trade-off decision for water and land use. Do we want to conserve specific ecosystems in our country, specific forests, or do we want to have, soy plantations, bioenergy plantations also, which is a hot debate actually to increase bioenergy production and thus have more bioenergy plantations in some regions of the world, which require land and also water. This decision is really a local and regional decision, and it's in some cases really a tough decision to be made. Do we want to use water and land for producing export goods, or do we want to use only for producing goods that are needed by our own country? Do we want to preserve the ecosystems, terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems, by the way? So there's a multitude of trade-offs to be made. I think, well, of course, that's a decision that landowners, countries will have to be made, but of course it has to do with how we want to arrange actually the global land and water use patterns, and that's why we're doing these global scale studies. First to see where are the hotspots of change, but then to see how individual regions are already connected to the global system and especially to the global trade system. And if we identify for the future that this dependency will increase, well, that's a message to policymakers perhaps. Do countries really want increasing dependency on trade, or do they want to seek for solutions of more proper water and land management in their own country to decrease the possible increasing dependency in the future? And it also has to do with lifestyle changes again, because meat consumption, for example, would require large areas of pastures, grazing land, and also higher water consumption, but one could think, well, why not grow forests or other natural ecosystems on this area instead of, or crops, instead of having grazing land and rangelands there. So it's always about trade-off decisions, and it's about particular decisions for particular locations in terms of land and water use, and in terms of water management in particular, irrigated or non-irrigated. And there's a really large spectrum of possibilities how to increase efficiency also of water use. Because what we've also found in that study is that if we would increase water use efficiency, then the dependency on other countries would be less pronounced than it is today, and less pronounced than we see in the other simulation for the future. Improving water productivity and crop productivity as a whole, that would decrease again the dependency on other countries. And I think in many regions one can really improve the crop management to a substantial degree by various methods. It does not necessarily mean intensified agriculture, which has negative side effects on the environment via pollution and salinization and so on, but there's also a large range of options, low-cost options in rain-fed agriculture and in organic agriculture actually, which is very much underexplored in many regions, I would say.